Hey, how y'all doing? This is Mongo Slay, and today we're going to do the Hell in a Cell review. So, all in all, it was a pretty decent show. It was a little predictable, but let's get right into these predictions. Oh, before we get into the predictions, be sure to hit the like button on your way in the door. If you're not subscribed, be sure to subscribe. Thank you guys for listening up front, and so let's get right into it. So the first match of the night was Jey Uso versus Roman Reigns in an I Quit match inside the Hell in a Cell for the Universal Championship. And this match was good. It was good. It had a really decent story. My only problem, and I think this was a running thing throughout the night, is that there was a lot of talking segments that was interspersed with the action. So it kind of, these matches don't go for violent and bloody anymore because that's not what WWE does. So because it's a PG program, these matches go mostly for grueling, where it's just, long and brutal, where they just kind of seem to take a long time to end. This match was too long, as far as I'm concerned. It was very dramatic, which was good. The story was good. Everything was tight. I just felt like it was a little too long with the talking segments, but it was really good. I really liked that they had told the story of the spear, how devastating the spear is. Basically, Jey was damn near crying after every spear. He got speared, so he got speared the first time, and then Roman tells him, like, in 5 or 10 minutes you're gonna really wish you quit right now. And he was really talking a lot of shit throughout this match. It was after the second spear, Jey still didn't want to quit, but Roman was like, "Hey, you making me the bad guy here? Like, just quit. It's over. Nice fight. But you making me the bad guy. You need to stop this." And but you had throughout, the Roman being dominant, you had Jey really firing up on him. After the second spear, you had Jey fire up one of these, and he hit the two Uso splashes. The one weird thing about this match is that there was no microphone. Usually, there's a microphone where the referee is, trying to get you to say that you quit, and that didn't happen here, because it was an empty building. So you had the guys could just talk, and the referee's basically just asking them, "Hey, you quit?" And then the guy was like, "No," or whatever. So there were some whips. The first weapon was brought out for the first couple of minutes. There wasn't any weapons. It was just punches and kicks and that sort of thing and talking. And then Jey is the first one to introduce weapons. He introduced a whip, which was really cool, a leather strap. So it was really cool that he was, striking Roman with the strap, and you had the loud crack that really felt bigger in the empty arena, I think. And that was really cool. And then he he broke one of the he was whipping him, and then he went to whip him again. That's when he gets the third spear, and then Jey starts saying, like, "I can't breathe," like, "I can't breathe." He really acting out. He's really kind of going hard. And then Roman picks up the whip, and he's like, "I do the whipping around here." Okay, so they said something that was really interesting, and it was after the match, of course, that I found to be really interesting. That I'm gonna do a video on. It's called the Tyrant. So there's a male archetype. It's called the King energy, and the dark side of the King is the Tyrant. And this is what you're seeing with the Roman Reigns. And I'm gonna go into this a little bit more in detail some other day when I sit down and do the do archetype videos. And I'm gonna do one on the King energy, and I kind of want to break this down, how this makes more sense as far as the character is concerned. But this was really dope that you had basically Roman in the fatherly role in this situation where he's like, he's talking down to Jey. He's always been talking down to Jey, but it wasn't really connecting that he was supposed to be. I've always said, like we said before, the alpha male, but the alpha male is sort of the father of the group. He's the center of attention. He's the orderly one. He's at the head. He keeps everyone else in order. The females and the males. The males know where they are in the hierarchy in relation to the alpha male, and so do the women. and that's kind of how it works. But a lot of people didn't seem to get that, and maybe they kind of drove it home here by they kept saying it's like the Animal Kingdom, and they just kept going they kept going on and on about it. But Roman actually tied them together. Like he tied, the strap around his wrist, and he put the strap around Jay's wrist, and so Jay couldn't get away. And there was a little tug of war there for a moment, and I thought he was going to snatch Jay into another spear, which would have been cool. But instead, Jay sort of fired back on him and was started throwing some punches. And Roman tried to do a Superman punch, and Jay yanked the whip, and Roman tumbled to the ground. And then he wrapped his head and arm in the strap, and he was choking Roman with Roman's own arm, which was pretty cool, and it was a pretty nice visual. It was kind of reminiscent of the Umaga John Cena finish, where back then they could actually strangle people, so they was just like John Cena was just strangling Umaga in that match. But in this situation, of course, because they can't choke anybody, there was no choking. So, so Roman's arm was in the way. But it was really cool because you had Roman, in a sense, playing possum. Like he was getting choked out, and then he would, sort of fade out, so Jay will let him go. And, but they really went hard with he must say I quit. Because Roman was out. At least he was playing possum as if he was out. And the referee didn't stop the match. And later on, they would do a similar thing, and the referee would not stop the match, even though he tried to. But we'll get there. So Roman didn't tap out. Roman didn't quit. Jay kind of let him go, thinking that maybe he would quit. I didn't understand that, and both of them did that a lot, where they would let the hold go in sort of preparation for the guy to quit, but he didn't quit. And so he put him back in the hold, and then Roman ended up getting away. He still didn't quit. But so it was really cool, and then Roman eventually gets Jay in a guillotine choke, which was, it was pretty brutal, man. Like it was a pretty good choke, and Jay still didn't quit, and he had it on him for a little while, but Jay went out. Jay went kind of like limp a little bit, and then Roman said like, hey, from this point on, I'm not going to be held responsible, when I take it to the next level. And the referee is like, Jay, you got to get up. You got to tell me whether you quit. And then, Roman just kept saying, look, it's like, end it now, because I'm about to take it to the next level. And Jay wouldn't quit. He was immobile at this point in time. Jay was mostly immobile. He wasn't moving after the guillotine choke. And so Roman kind of snapped. Like he flipped, and he got the stairs, and he was going to hit Jay with the stairs. Jay was defenseless by this point. He had been choked out by the guillotine choke. Of course, it was being extra dramatic, but he placed the stairs over Jay's head, and he gave him a nice lecture about this is how we take care of the family. I had to change. I had to do this, and he looks like he's about to end it. He's about to he's about to end this, and the referee wanted to stop the match. He's like, oh no, we got to stop this. So Roman takes the referee and throws the referee out of the ring, and was like, nope. Well, I have to back up because he wasn't still immobile after the guillotine choke, because he did 2 drive-by kicks, which is Roman Reigns' drop kick from the apron. He drop kicked him, boom, first time, head into the ring post. Jay still didn't quit. So he put the stairs there, drop kicked the stairs into Jay's head into the ring post. Now, from this point, Jay really did not have any opportunity to respond. He was pretty much finished. But, they didn't end the match. This is when, then Roman went and got the stairs and put the stairs over his head. It looked like he was about to hit him in the head with the stairs. The second referee, the referee that's outside the ring, comes in because the other referee got thrown out, which leaves the door open. And that referee is trying to stop the match, and all of these officials come running into the ring. Stop it! That's enough! And Roman's like, nah, that ain't it. He gotta quit. He gotta quit. And then Jimmy comes in. Of course, Jimmy Uso, and I really guessed this would happen. Jimmy comes in there, and they start going through this whole dramatic thing where he's like, "What's wrong with you? What's wrong with you?" And then he doxed Jay using his real name. You know, he's like, this Josh right here. And he's kind of holding him like he's an infant. Like in one of these movies, he was like, no. That's kind of how he was holding his, like, cradling his head. Like, this Josh right here. This Josh right here. And Roman's kind of like, he's torn up about it. He's like, he doesn't know what to do. Like, he's taken aback. Like he's got this inner turmoil. Like he didn't want to do this, but he felt like he had to. Like this was really important to them and important to their family. And, you know, and Jimmy's like, whatever it is, whatever you're going through, we'll help you. Like, we'll help you whatever you're going through. And so that kind of makes Roman pace like a wild animal. You know, like he's pacing and you know, and Roman's like, what am I supposed to tell my children? What am I supposed to tell my kids? I'm like, what the hell? Tell them you won. Shit, like, what the hell else are you supposed to tell them? Like, what am I supposed to tell my kids? You know, I'm like, wow. So Roman, you know, makes it seem like it's all well and good. You know, Jimmy came out there, didn't acknowledge him as the tribal chief, but was like, whatever you're going through, we'll help you. And then Roman kind of takes his hand and they sort of hold hands for a little while. And then Roman puts him in the guillotine choke. And, you know, they're wrestling around as, you know, Roman is choking Jimmy out. And in all the wrestling, Jay kind of wakes up, of course. And as Jay wakes up, he sees Jimmy getting choked out and Jay quits. He quit to save Jimmy. And I don't know how other people feel because I didn't look. I almost never look at Twitter. Only when something is really controversial did I look at Twitter first. But I remember my brother's response to this. He was like, "Oh man," you know, kind of like that was weak. And I was like, "It fits the story. It fits the story. The story is about family. You know, the story is about family and how family is so important." But Roman is not acting like family is important, right? Roman is acting like his position is important. It's very important to Roman to be in this specific spot, you know, as the head of the table, as the alpha male of the family. That is the most important thing, not the family itself. That's just a means to an end at this point. You know, Roman doesn't give a fuck about his family. He just wants everybody to follow behind him. That's really kind of what we're getting out of this. Now, in the comment section, I forget who it was. I was commenting with somebody in one of my previous videos. Maybe it might have been in the previews, the prediction video, where I basically said this would happen. You know, that it would be like Flair and Foley from SummerSlam 2006. Where, if you don't remember, Ric Flair and Mick Foley had this brutal I Quit match at SummerSlam 2006. And obviously Foley was the heel, I believe, if I remember correctly. Or was he the babyface? I don't remember. But, you know, obviously they were both two old guys, and they were in there bleeding on top of each other. And Foley would not quit no matter what Flair did. And Flair ended up threatening to hit Melina, who was the friend of Mick Foley. They were telling this story of Mick Foley being, you know, the champion of women and all this type of stuff, and him being friends with Melina. And Flair was going to hit Melina with this barbed wire baseball bat, and then Foley quits. And it was kind of weird because, you know, Melina, like, so what? But it made sense within the story that they were telling. But here it makes even more sense because Jimmy is already hurt, for starters. Second is that it is supposed to be about family, and Roman is showing that it's not really about family. It's not about family at all. It's about power. And that makes it, you know, that completes his heel turn. So, I mean, even though it was already complete, he was already a heel, but this sort of establishes the character fully now, that he is not about his family. He's about himself. He's about power. And now the Usos have to follow in behind him or be excommunicated from the family. So they only have no choice. This match was pretty good. Again, they go for grueling and not for a violent, fast-paced match that you would think of. You know, no thumbtacks, no Lego blocks, and no stupid shit like that. No chopsticks in the head. So they go for the quote-unquote grueling match, which sometimes makes it too slow. And that was the problem for McIntyre and Orton too, but we'll get there. But yeah, this match was a little too slow, but I didn't mind the finish. I know it might be controversial. You know, some people might think it was stupid, or they might think it was kind of weak. But Jey Uso is a babyface. You know, as far as the babyfaces go, there shouldn't be any quitting. You know, I am really against babyfaces losing I quit matches, but he had to lose. It wasn't like he could beat Roman and win the title. So, in a way to get a babyface to quit, I think I said this before. I'll probably said it in a different video, and it may be an unpublished video as of right now. So I'm gonna put it here. Baby faces, they have, you have morality. It's a morality tale, right? When you are the baby face, you're the hero. When you're a hero, there's, all these different moral things that you do. That, there's fairness and justice, and, there's care and there's liberty and all these different things that you can fight for. Jey Uso is the babyface that was fighting on behalf of his family. As such, he has a care morality that is higher than Roman's. So if you look at the Jonathan Haidt moral foundations, care, liberty, what was that? Order, justice. I believe in justice and fairness, and I think care and harm is it's like two sides of the same thing. It's 5 of them. It doesn't matter. But care is one of them. Care and harm is one of them. Basically, certain people react a certain way when other people are in danger. It makes sense that if your twin brother is in danger, that would be the most important thing to you. Okay? So anybody who's upset, it makes sense. Yes, Jey could have won the title, but he doesn't care about the title. He cares about his brother, right? He cared about the title up until that point. And then he saw that there's something more important than a title. And since Jimmy is more important than the title, more important than a position, more important than anything, he submitted. He said, I quit. And flawless. That's good stuff. And this match going on first kind of hurt the rest of the matches, but all of these matches felt different. They all kind of went for, this match and the Orton and McIntyre match both went for grueling, but this was pretty good, man. And you had Jey Uso. He's cussing on Vince McMahon's pay-per-views. I'm pretty sure they didn't say nothing to him about it, because why would they? So then after the match, Alpha and Sika, they meet Roman at the top of the ramp, and they give him the Chief's lie, the deep red lie. And the Usos are in the ring, stupefied at how, the elders have blessed young Roman Reigns. And it was touching. It meant something. That could have easily ended the show. It literally could have. You could have ended the show with Roman getting his Chiefs lie, and people would have been like, cool. But because, it's a controversial finish, the way the babyface gave up, I can see why they put it on first. Okay, so, but, this match was pretty good. I enjoyed it. Would I watch it again? I'd probably watch it one more time. I watched their Night of Champions match more than once. And the red cell really doesn't incentivize me to watch matches more than once. It really doesn't. Like, I really have no interest in watching Hell in a Cell matches more than once with that red cell. But it was cool. I enjoyed it. So this match, we could have definitely done without. Jeff Hardy versus Elias. It was similar to what I thought it would be. Jeff Hardy is, he did a decent job with Elias. Match ended disqualification. With Jeff Hardy hit Elias with a guitar. They're going to obviously handcuff Jeff to Elias for a little while. Elias has been on the main roster for, 3 years? 4 years, maybe? He's still kind of doing the honky tonk man thing. He looks like Randy Savage, but his character is more of the honky tonk man. He did the drunk thing. He did drunk jokes. I know that there's probably some SJWs on Twitter who are really in their feelings because they really don't like that Jeff Hardy gets referred to as a drunk and all that type of stuff. They really get pissy about that. But it was what it was. There was really only one cool move in the spot in the match where Jeff did Elias did powerbomb from the electric chair position, which was pretty cool. Elias' music has changed, which was interesting as well, but not surprising at all. So they're going to continue this thing. They're going to continue this Elias Jeff Hardy thing, and can't say that I'm surprised. I can only say that maybe they're going to start bringing in the fact that Jeff Hardy does music as well. Because maybe you didn't know, but Jeff is an artist. He's an artiste. This is also a male archetype. It's called the lover, and, for the highly creative man. But maybe I'll do a video on that too one day. But the highly creative man has no barriers, which is, how, and the flip side of that is called the addict, which is strange, right? Because Jeff Hardy's a drunk, and being a drunk is being addicted to alcohol. But you have this concept with, the lover, the male archetype of that concept, that you really don't like barriers. And so Jeff Hardy does all these different artistic things because he can't be boxed in. So he does music, he does art, he does sculptures, he does all that stuff. So maybe they're going to bring in the fact that Jeff, and he actually sang his TNA theme, the modest to the top, boom, 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 boom. That song was so bad. It was so bad. That song sucked ass. Oh, that shit sucked dick on a Monday afternoon. That shit was bad. Ugh. It was a horrible song. And that's why I remember it though. I remember it because it was so bad. Maybe they'll bring in the fact that Jeff does music as a way of, making this storyline make sense, and not just, Jeff Hardy's a drunk and he hit me with a car. Because okay, he didn't hit you with a car, bro, but okay. Let's see what we got next. Okay, so this was awesome. The match. Match was okay. They changed Otis's theme music, which was really good. I actually don't mind his new theme. His new theme was actually good. But this match told a decent story. That, Otis was essentially dominating the Miz. I don't like that, before we get into the match, John Morrison shaved. And he looks weird. He legitimately looks like Johnny Nitro. He looks weird. They did mention that, the Money in the Bank winner has only lost his Money in the Bank one time, which was, of course, Mr. Kennedy, who lost his Money in the Bank to Edge. And I think it was 2006. Or was it 2007? One of those 2 years. I think it was 2007. Because he was injured. Well, they thought he was injured. And it turned out he wasn't really all that injured. And I think he's still pretty mad about that. But when they mentioned that, I kind of had a feeling that Miz was going to win. But when they put the briefcase on the line, I kind of had an idea that Miz was going to win. They did a little bit. They showed a decent side of Otis here. He actually did. They worked a real match. It wasn't too goofy. I remember me and my brother was kind of up like, as Jomo was quitting, cheating rather. Jomo means John Morrison. As he was cheating, I was sitting there yelling like, why the fuck isn't Tucker doing something? Tucker isn't doing anything. And John Morrison's taking all types of cheap shots. And I'm looking at Tucker on the other side of the ring, and he's just throwing his hands up like, come on. And I'm like, go stop him. But then after a while, I was kind of like, are they going to turn Tucker? Are they going to do that? And they did. They did. So it was pretty cool. I like that they didn't really show that Otis was weak. Otis really was kind of no-selling some of Miz's offense. Like he was doing Daniel Bryan's kick to the chest, and Otis kind of was like, no big deal. Like he's a big fat, stay puffed. Otis is, a snowman with eyelashes. He could absorb strikes, and that's kind of what he was doing. Miz isn't the best striker in the world anyway, so it didn't matter. So he was kind of absorbing Miz's strikes, and it was weird. He threw a really badass discus clothesline. I actually liked his discus clothesline. It was pretty cool. So and then he also wears a shirt called Body by Steak. I thought you could think of something fatter than that, like Body by Cake, or Body by Cupcakes, or Body by Donuts, or something like that. It would have been a little bit funnier because I think it's supposed to be a fat joke. But it was okay. So the ref finally caught Jomo cheating. She threw him out, like, get out. And everybody was kind of happy, like, yay, Jomo got tossed out finally because he was cheating. And then the finish came where Tucker hits Otis in the head with the Money in the Bank briefcase. And The Miz pins him. And that was a good finish. Now, see, in the prediction video, I basically said that that Tucker should turn, but I didn't think that it would do it because you did have the Sasha and Bayley thing. But this is the year of breaking up tag teams and giving at least giving one tag team guy a push. You know, you got Otis, tag team guy, getting a singles push. Big E, tag team guy, getting a singles push. Jey Uso, tag team guy, getting the singles push. For the first time, well, not the first time for Big E, but, you know, they're taking some chances here with these guys. Now they're going to take chances with both members of Heavy Machinery. So it's really interesting. You know, it's really interesting. And because they're on separate brands, they're not going to be fighting, you know. So that ought to be really interesting. So after the match, you got Miz and Morrison are celebrating. They're happy. They're thrilled. Miz gets serious and says, "This is not a lunchbox." He's talking about the Money in the Bank. This is not a lunchbox. This is a golden opportunity, and it's not going to go to waste. And, you know, then Tucker comes in. And naturally, you would think that the heels are in cahoots. But Tucker's like, this ain't got nothing to do with you. You get the hell out of here. Like, he's still mad at The Miz. Like, he still doesn't like The Miz. And then he cuts this promo explaining himself. That, you know, he was the brains of the operation. That he, you know, sacrificed all his time and energy into the team. While Otis is a big dumb idiot, essentially. And he says, Otis can't tie his own shoes by himself. It's similar to what Seth Rollins said about Dean Ambrose. When I forget like what promo that was. I think it was the first promo after he turned on the Shield, where he basically said that Dean Ambrose was an idiot and that, you know, Dean Ambrose was self-destruct without Seth Rollins. He kind of did, didn't he? That was prophetic, wasn't it? Considering, I mean, the guy's making more money than ever, so I guess he didn't self-destruct too much. But he kind of hit that ditch kind of hard without the Shield. But I like Dean Ambrose. I mean, come on. Let me stop dissing him. So it was okay. It was a decent promo. They have been doing a lot of this whole jealous partner stuff because they also did it with Mandy Rose and Sonya Deville, and it didn't have the same punch here as it did then because they have been doing heel turns on partners. They just did it with Sasha Banks and Bayley. And, you know, they've been doing this whole one partner beats up another, hits another, turns another one. But this was very necessary for Otis. Like I said before, Otis is a babyface, but he was specifically a sympathetic babyface. He had lost the sympathy. So that means he kind of lost being over. And what I mean by that, for people who didn't watch my prediction video, what got Otis over was being a big silly goof who was in love with a girl who was out of his league. And now his friend is trying to help him get the girl. And he's fighting against what should be a natural pairing between Mandy and Dolph Ziggler, you know, like the prom king and the prom queen, and he's sort of the hunchback of Notre Dame. So he's sort of fighting against that, you know, where he's not as good looking as Dolph, he's not as in shape as Dolph. You get that sympathy there. That is what got Otis over, is the sympathy. Once he got the girl, the sympathy went down a little bit, right? But you still have Otis as an underdog, where, you know, he's kind of a tag team guy. He's still, oh yeah, he's still, you know, being silly, and he's doing silly things with Mandy, and that's all nice and well and good. But what was driving people was the fact that there was sympathy for Otis, that he felt, you know, they felt bad for him, that he wanted this girl so badly and he couldn't get her, so he finally got the girl. And then they took it to the next level by giving him the Money in the Bank briefcase. So people was like, ugh. You know, now he's overachieving. You know, now he's got too much going on for him. Now he's got the girl and he's got a title shot. He's beaten all these other people that, you know, fans think they are more deserving, like Aleister Black and Rey Mysterio and AJ Styles. And they're like, they pushing Otis and they're not pushing Ricochet? You know, that kind of thing. So now they got like, you got this concept that Otis is being overpushed and that he's getting more than he deserves. So they started slowly taking that stuff away. The Miz took away Mandy by sending her to Raw. Then they took away Tucker by sending him to Raw. Now they taking his Money in the Bank briefcase. So now the sympathy for him should return. People should start feeling bad for Otis again. And as a babyface that needs to fight from the bottom, okay, that makes sense. That's great storytelling. Now, nothing can stop Otis from winning a battle royal or a tournament or a fatal four-way or whatever and getting his title shot anyway. Nothing can stop that. That can still happen. But they needed to get that goddamn briefcase off of him. Okay? I don't really think it needed to go. Sorry. You know, if you are a fan of Otis or you think that you hate The Miz, doesn't matter. The briefcase had to go. It just did. I'm kind of disappointed they didn't have Miz cash in the Money in the Bank on the very night he won it. Would have made more sense. But I think they'll probably save it for Raw. You know, they'll probably save it for Raw. But this was good. It did what it was supposed to do. As a match, it wasn't. What are you expecting? You know, Steamboat Savage. Get the fuck out of here. It's Miz and John and fucking Otis. All right, so Bayley versus Sasha Banks. This was good. But it was. I question whether it was the right decision. So they talked about, you know, Sasha Banks being 0-2 going into the Money in the Bank. Bayley had been champ for over 380 days, and, you know, 500 days total. You know, they did some things where Sasha Banks was basically eliminating the weapons from the match. She kicked Bayley's chair outside the ring, and then Bayley got a kendo stick. She got rid of the kendo stick. And then they started to construct things. Like, this match was mostly Bayley and Sasha Banks putting things together. You know, like taking time to build things. Like build stuff to jump off of, or stuff to jump onto, or to throw each other onto. And the Sabu and the Public Enemy infestation in the business, when they started constructing tables, like stacking them on top of each other, and that shit has ruined the concept of fighting. This shit is like Cirque du Soleil now. I love Cirque du Soleil, by the way. I watched Corteo earlier. It was pretty good. But this we need to build the set. Like, I need to put the table here, and it needs to be just like this, or somebody's gonna get hurt, you know. But it was still good. This was still a very, very, very good match. I just don't like the idea that every spot needs to be constructed. You need to build your play set and then do a move off of it. But they still did some pretty cool stuff. Like, you know, there was the Meteor off the table, which was my favorite spot of the match. And they shot it well, too. You know, even though it was shot to a red-ass cage, it looked good. You know, the table was at a slant. Like, one of the legs were down. And Sasha Banks had ran Bayley with it up into the cage. And while she was landing, and then Sasha Banks got a running start, ran up the table as it was slanted downward. She ran up and both knees to Bayley's chest. Great spot. Awesome spot. I enjoyed that. They did a lot of building. I'm not gonna go through I'm not gonna go through everything they built, but they was building all kind of shit. It was a pretty funny spot because they were building everything. Bayley had to build something outside the ring, and she was fucking around with this duct tape, and I swear I almost yelled how much I love Bayley, because I really do love Bayley now. But she was like, "I'm so sweaty. Could you help me?" to the referee, because she couldn't get the duct tape. She couldn't get the duct tape to open because her hands were sweaty. So she was like, "It's so sweaty. Could you help me?" And the referee's like, "No, I can't help you." And then she, using her teeth. And then she made this shitty thing that was bridged under the ring. She tried to tape two kendo sticks together, and apparently didn't know how to do it. And it was like badly built. Like, she's a shitty engineer. Like, her engineering is trash. Okay. I don't even think they used it. Whatever it is that it was supposed to be, it didn't work. Like, it was laying there and it was bent in the middle, like where she was trying to tape it. It was horrible. That shit was great. I love Bayley. But they did some pretty cool stuff, man. Sasha Banks went for the frog splash. Bayley got up the chair. She put the chair on her stomach, which was an odd place for it. So Sasha Banks frog splashed the chair, and hurt herself and hurt Bayley as well. But it was weird. But they did she did a rose plant on the floor. Bayley had the secondary finish. It's called the rose plant. It's basically like a face buster. She did it on the floor and got a 2 count. So that was pretty cool. And then they constructed something with the ladder. It ended up being with a meteor off the ladder, the double knees, into Bayley while she was in the corner. That was pretty cool as well. So they did some really cool stuff as far as jumping off shit. And the finish just came with Bayley, Sasha Banks getting Bayley in the bank statement. She put her head in the chair, just kind of like she did on SmackDown, and Bayley tapped out. So, but that was really well done. It was really well done. It was really well put together. I enjoyed that. There was too much building, too much time taken to build shit. These things are supposed to look like fights, right? I get that you want to take time to put up a chair or take time to stand up a ladder, but we got to take time to tape kendo sticks together, slide this into the cage, slide this into the stairs, and it has to look a certain way, and then the shit falls apart as soon as you turn your back. Let's keep this to a minimum. Let's keep the building to a minimum. Too much building. So after Sasha Banks wins, she conquers Bayley. She holds the title up, puts her foot on Bayley's back, like she's conquered Bayley and embarrassed her. Like a real pro, though, she was selling her neck. Selling her neck from the front, which is really weird. But I guess that's kind of how they told her to do it. So she was still kind of holding her neck as she held the title up. So she didn't forget that her neck was supposed to be injured. A real pro, kind of. But the match was fine. Bayley was completely distraught that she had lost. Disgusted. But it was cool. It was a cool match. So then following that, I don't have a slide for this, so we're just going to talk about it with Bayley and Sasha Banks on the screen. We found out that on the kickoff show that there was a challenge by Mustafa Ali, one member of Retribution versus one member of the Hurt Business, and MVP chose Lashley. And then the Hurt Business also got to choose the Retribution member. And instead of choosing Mustafa Ali, which would have been made more sense, they chose Slapjack. Whatever. So it was Slapjack versus Lashley for the U.S. title, and obviously Lashley won. It was a waste of time. I guess they want to build to the Mustafa Ali match, but you could have done a tag team match or something right here or something just to, give Retribution a win. I mean, we can't give them no W's. They can't get none. No wins. No wins in Mikasa. Okay. I like the Hurt Business. Retribution it could have been fun. The interesting thing is, I remember it seems that Mercedes Martinez is no longer in the Hurt Business. I think people have been saying that now. I haven't seen her with them, so that apparently might be true, that Mercedes Martinez is out of the Hurt Business. Not the Hurt Business, but Retribution. And Lance Storm dissed Retribution a little bit, saying, Mercedes Martinez, she must dodged a bullet. I wouldn't be very fond of them if I was in that match. But, that's kind of how he is. But they attacked Lashley after the match, of course, and then the Hurt Business ran him off. No big deal. No harm, no foul. Lashley got a win against a member of a Hurt Business, a member of Retribution who couldn't beat him anyway. Could have made it fun, though. Slapjack, it was... his name is really Slapjack, dog, and he looks like Casey from the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. This is really weird shit. Really weird shit. Whatever. What the fuck ever, dog. Okay, so the main event. Drew McIntyre versus Randy Orton for the WWE Championship inside the Hell in a Cell. So Randy Orton tried to sneak attack Drew McIntyre during his entrance. I love that. I thought that was pretty cool. You got this Splinter Cell Randy Orton who's hiding, Metal Gear Randy Orton, rather. He's hiding and all that type of stuff. So they did some interesting stuff outside the ring and then worked their way into the ring. They told the story of Randy Orton winning 2 of his 13 championships in the cell, which is pretty cool. Mac was Mac. I wrote down Mac. I'm just gonna say McIntyre, but Mac had the lead earlier, obviously because he's the babyface. That's how it's supposed to go. they were working a jaw injury that they didn't forget that Drew McIntyre supposedly had a broken jaw. They didn't forget that, so they worked that in. That was pretty good. And of course, this match really kind of picked it up once they went outside the ring after Randy Orton cut the chain and went outside the ring and climbed up, sort of daring Drew McIntyre to climb up with him. And of course, being an idiot, Drew McIntyre climbed up because, being a babyface, he's supposed to be brave. He goes to the top of the cell, and Randy's up there with a pipe or a bat or something that they hide up there. And they got standing posts up there. It's real safe. It's real safe. And they weren't up there long. They did a little bit of a scrap. And then Randy retreated because, of course, he would. And then he's climbing down the cell. And then McIntyre's climbing down the cell. And Randy makes Drew McIntyre fall from the side of the cell through the table. Interesting spot. Even though it's cliche, and it's been done 1,000 times, that spot where you fall from the cage into the table. They do it in every fucking match. Well, except for the other two matches they did on this show. But pretty much every year, you can pretty much be sure somebody's going to fall off the side of the cage. It's like, it takes the oomph out of it. So there really is no oomph to falling off the cage when everybody's going to do it. Like everybody's got to do it. Everybody's got to take that bump. But it told the story it took the steam out of McIntyre, kind of. So McIntyre is kind of like, ooh, they doing the whole blood from the mouth thing. He's crawling, he's Wounded Warrior crawling on the floor, trying to get away from Randy, as Randy kind of stalks him like a predator, like he's supposed to be a predator. They get back in the ring, and Randy is trying to finish the match, tries to hit an RKO. McIntyre sort of bowed up a little bit and did a backslide, and got a 2 count, which is a callback to SummerSlam, obviously. I know sometimes people hate callbacks. I don't mind them, I don't really take it as being taking it to the next level, like New Japan, where it's a callback to some match from 3 years ago. Well, no, if it's a callback to a match that recently happened within the same story, okay. But if it's a callback from a match a year ago, who cares? But they told the story, and it was interesting. Like after the backslide, Orton kicked out. Immediately, Drew McIntyre hit a Claymore kick, and Orton flopped and rolled outside the ring, which was perfect. So now McIntyre forces Orton back into the ring, and he's in the corner, powering up, because that's what everybody does now. Everybody powers up in the corner. And he's waiting for Randy and Randy's stirring, like he's overselling. He's playing possum a little bit. And then here comes, he finally stands up. McIntyre darts across the ring, tries to kick him. Orton goes down. The kick misses. Then he jumps back up, RKO, pinfall. Not bad. A little cliche, like I said, with the fall. It was a bit much. Not a bad show. Wasn't the best show in the world, because every non-cell match was pretty stupid. Hardy and Elias was stupid. It was a waste of time. Slapjack and Lashley was stupid. It was a waste of time. Miz and Otis wasn't a great match, but served its purpose. So I couldn't complain. Can't complain about that. So all in all, it was a solid show. Would I watch it again? I would probably watch Bayley and Sasha Banks again. Probably watch Reigns and Uso again. Orton and McIntyre, probably not. The thing about that is, maybe that match shouldn't have main evented the show. I think it was a bad call. Even with the title change, I don't think that it should have main evented the show. It was a bad call. All right, so thank you guys for listening. Like the video if you haven't liked it by now. Share the video. Tell more people about it. Subscribe to the channel. Donate to the channel if you can. If you got any show ideas, you can email me at mrslade84@gmail.com. That's Mr. Slade is one word. 84, the numbers 8 and 4 @gmail.com. If you have any questions or anything like that. Thank you guys for listening. Have a nice day. I hope you guys enjoyed the show. Be sure to comment as well. Let me know whether you enjoyed the show or not. And we'll talk to you guys later.